To further discuss this, I'm joined by Ijaw Youth spokesperson, Bedford Berefa. Hello, Bedford. Good morning, and thank you for joining us at this time.
Good morning for having me. Good morning.
All right, Bedford, now can you elaborate on the specific issues leading to the call for President Tinubu's resignation as petroleum minister, and what particular reforms do you propose to address, the challenges being faced in the oil sector in Niger Delta?
Well, of course, we know that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is saddled with responsibility as the Chief Security Officer in the country to safeguard lives and property. Of course, in the last 1 year, you will see antecedents in the oil and gas sector, particularly the availability of products owing to the removal of first subsidy. You will see the heightened hardship and the consistent hunger that it has brought to Nigerians. It clearly shows that the Minister of Petroleum, in the person of the President of this country, is distracted, so to speak. So he should relinquish that position as Minister for Petroleum. He should give that position to people that can micromanage and get results. Because what we seek for is results. So we call, as a joint council, we call for his immediate resignation in that department. He should relinquish that office as Minister of Petroleum and give it statutory responsibility to critical stakeholders, to individuals that can micromanage. That is even in the oil and gas sector that are key players in the industry to manage the process and bring us out of this mess. As a result of that, you see the naira as lopsided. For the last 1 month, it has consistently been on 1,600 naira to $1. You could see life is becoming so difficult and very, very endangering, the nation, because hunger is the basic reason why people will protest. And consistent protest can lead to revolution, and that's not what we need as a country. So we advise the president of this country to step aside as the petroleum minister and give the responsibility to people, to somebody, to technocrats that is giving a time frame, is giving.
Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything about politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. In this video, we want to talk about the ministerial portfolios that are said to perform poorly, that they deserve to be sacked from the Tinubu administration. Of course, you are aware that recently, after the Federal Executive Council meeting, the special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, confirmed that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is planning to reshuffle his cabinet. In other words, to sack those who did not perform and to bring in new people. Of course, we don't know the criteria for the assessment of performance, because the government in totality is a failure in all directions. But nobody knows the real criteria they want to use to assess the ministers. But there are many Nigerians who said by their utterances now and in the past that if anyone deserved to be sacked in terms of performance, that the president should sack himself as Minister of Petroleum Resources, because in that portfolio, he has also failed to perform. He has failed in his performance as the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources. And that was reinforced by the Ijaw Youth Council in that interview that you heard, where they explicitly said it, that he was a failure as Minister of Petroleum Resources. In other words, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should also look at himself in the mirror as he assesses other ministers that he believes ought to leave his cabinet. Although we were hinted by Onanuga when of the criteria, part of the criteria was that some of the ministers are not talking to the media, they are not trumpeting the achievements. They are not coming forward to defend the government. In other words, Bayo Onanuga wanted to play his role, to come and defend the indefensible. Perhaps those who have not been coming out in the media. I saw one of the ministers the other day with a very dark man. I say, is this part of also trying to show that you are relatable to the media? But that is by the way. But what I'm saying is that there are Nigerians who also say that the president should look at the mirror as he tries to identify the ministers to sack for poor performance. And Nigerians, including the Joint Council, are among those who say that he ought to be sacked as the Minister of Petroleum Resources. And they gave reasons. You listen to what the Joint Council said. It was an assessment of his performance as Minister of Petroleum Resources. But even before that, Leonard Silk, like Odisha Abakova, has also been among those who felt that the president cannot effectively perform the responsibility of the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Abakova, in an interview with the Punch newspaper, did make that clear that the president that he gives a wrong impression that the president is the Minister of Petroleum Resources. In other words, ab initio, by appointing himself a Minister of Petroleum Resources, he gives a wrong impression. He ought not to be Minister of Petroleum Resources. So in that, it means that Abakova felt that he cannot perform that job effectively. So if that is the assessment, it means that also Tinubu should go as Minister of Petroleum Resources. There is also another Nigerian, Wumi Iledare. He is a professor emeritus in petroleum economics and policy research at the Center for Energy Studies in Louisiana, United States. He has also advised President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to step aside to relinquish the portfolio of the minister because he said the presidency is too busy to correctly superintend over that sector. In other words, the president cannot be able to pass the exam of sitting in as Minister of Petroleum Resources. Okay, he said that the president should relinquish the role so as to allow transparency in the industry and in particular of effectiveness. It means that as petroleum minister, the president has not been effective and there is no transparency, and that him being there hinders transparency and effectiveness. So that is a failure mark on his performance by somebody who is a professional in that sector, a petroleum economist. Also, the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, when he spoke at the Bank Directors Summit at Transcorp in Abuja recently, also said that it's not right that this president should concurrently hold the position of the president as well as the Minister of Petroleum Resources. He was speaking about Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, transparency in that company. And he was saying that part of the problem in that sector is also the president holding the position of Minister of Petroleum Resources. So it is all part of the generality of opacity in that sector when a president is the Minister of Petroleum Resources. Similarly, Eze Onyeekpere, a lawyer in a piece titled President Tinubu as Substantive Minister of Petroleum, said that the president neither has the time nor energy to be an effective and efficient minister of petroleum. He said the president neither has the time nor the energy to be an effective and efficient minister of petroleum resources. That means that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot be effective and efficient as Minister of Petroleum Resources. That is exactly a summary of the state of the petroleum industry under his supervision as the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources. Also, a former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Bayo Onanuga, is somebody who should be able to know better. He served as Minister of State for Petroleum Resources when Muhammad Buhari was president, as well as the Minister of Petroleum Resources, And he itemized why that does not make good impression. He also talked about the fact that it even scare away investors, seeing that the president is the Minister of Petroleum Resources. He talks about so many other things that made it difficult for even the Minister of State to perform effectively, because one of the things is that when this president is the Minister of Petroleum Resources and he doesn't have the time, the energy, and the technical ability to pretend over the sector, he now relies on third parties, people, his aides. His aides become very, very powerful. Of course, we all know what happened to Ibe Kachugu. It was all those kind of things that people like Rufai and Co were all trying to, show Buhari that they know better than Ibe Kachugu. And the aides of the President Buhari, at the end of the day, they did everything to ensure that they push Ibe Kachugu out. So that is. He is talking from his own experience. So that is why it is important that when you listen to someone like him, you take it seriously by saying that the president ought not to be the Minister of Petroleum Resources. It doesn't bode well with transparency, accountability, and in terms of transparency, especially with respect to foreign investors. That's my presentation of what Nigerians think about the president's performance as Minister of Petroleum Resources. In other words, what they are saying is that as the president is planning to sack ministers who did not perform, he should look at himself in the mirror, because he's also a minister. His ministry is no different from other ministries. So he should look himself in the mirror as he began to tick the marks of who should go and who should stay as minister. And there are Nigerians who believe that he has failed. He ought not to be allowed to remain in the cabinet as Minister of Petroleum Resources. I don't know what you think about this, but whatever is your position, let us know. Let us let us listen to you and see what you have to say at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.